Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat.
Hello and welcome to the Dancing with Lemons Summit. My name is Monique McDonald and I will be your MC for this event. I'm known to many as the Magnetic Voice Mentor, and I'm so excited to be sharing in this wonderful event where speakers and authors are getting together and telling their stories. This one is a personal favorite of mine. Shiraz Baboo is a multi-award-winning author, international speaker, and expert in reality addiction, and also a personal friend of mine. Our next guest, Shiraz, has been helping people hit their success goals for the last decade. He coaches you on how to rise out of your current circumstances and, most importantly, stay out. His book, How to Rewrite Reality, has changed lives across the globe. He's going to show you how to identify where you're unknowingly addicted to many of the struggles in your life, how to break free of those addictions, and then create success easier and faster than ever before. Please help me welcome Shiraz Baboo. Shiraz.
Hi, Shiraz.
Hi, I'm Michelle.
How are you?
I'm doing amazing.
Good. Thank you for joining us. I appreciate you being here.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm very curious as to how Monique introduced me, because I was watching on YouTube and then she said Shiraz Baboo, and then I turned off YouTube so I wouldn't get feedback. And then I'm like, she's still talking. What is she saying about me? So
I know we're working with our lemons as we do this because this is a new way going live and recording at the same time. And so what happens is that when I'm not talking, I get pushed out and I don't know what's being said. But I know Monique, and I know that everything that she says is going to be positive and beautiful and wonderful. So that, that's all well and good. I'll just have to watch the recordings when and I won't get them. But I have to say that I've met you a number of times, Shiraz, media boot camps and whatnot, and you're always just the nicest guy. But I never really knew your story, and it wasn't until your article that you put into Legendary Leaders that I really, for the first time, really knew what your backstory was. There it is. And I was really genuinely surprised. I had no idea. I had no idea that you had suffered physically from rheumatoid arthritis the way you did, and how you overcame it. So, I mean, it's a long story. Yes, a process that I'm asking you to kind of like crunch into this much, but just give us a little snippet, okay?
all right. Well, thank you again for having me on here. I love what you're doing. I love what you're doing with the magazine, and it's always a pleasure when we get to meet in person. My story started when I was 22 years old. I was in university studying to be a doctor in molecular genetics, and I was a bodybuilder. So I was in just in amazing shape, and I had like the whole life mapped out. The world was my oyster, except as you said, I didn't get pearls in my life. I got arthritis, and it was completely debilitating. Within a few months, I was lying in bed in pain. There were nights where I sipped my dinner through a straw because my jaw was so swollen and painful I couldn't actually chew. And I just watched my body start to deteriorate. Cartilage was wearing away. After about a decade or so, when I was walking, I was grinding bone on bone. And, people may not have been through this kind of physical pain, but if you've ever been in the situation where you have your whole life story, you know what you're going to do, you've got your mission, and then out of nowhere, bam, that whole thing has changed and you're left scrambling, then you can relate to what I was going through. And I struggled with this for 18 years, trying different ways to get arthritis. I tried medication and that didn't work. And whoever invented childproof caps for people with arthritis should be shot. You can't get in there. Right? And I did diet and supplements. I tried yoga, meditation. Nothing was working until I met this man in India, of all places. I'd flown over there for this program I'd heard about. And after working with him for a couple of weeks, which was just talking, which I thought was crazy because it's India. I'm thinking it's going to be some Reiki or energy healing kind of thing. It's like, heal, Shiraz, heal. But all he did was talk about me and gather all this information on my life story. And then he says, well, the problem is you believe you're responsible for everyone. And I'm like, what? And I said, I'm not responsible for everyone. He goes, I know you don't think you are, but from everything you've told me, you've created this belief that you need to be responsible for everyone in your life. And I thought about it and I went, okay, I know I'm a responsible guy. I don't think I'm responsible for everyone, but what's that even got to do with arthritis? And he said, oh, you don't want to be responsible for everyone. Went, yeah. And if you're lying in bed in pain, you don't have to be responsible for anyone and you don't have to feel guilty about it. If people see you're struggling just to get through the day, they're not going to ask you to take care of them. So arthritis isn't the problem. It's the solution for the problem you're not looking at. And it was just like a blow. Right?
Like, well, that's a different way to think of things, isn't it?
Yeah. And yeah, I processed that for a while. And then I said, so wait a sec. If what you're saying is true, all I have to do is say I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me. And my arthritis should just go away. And he said, yeah. And again, I'm still not fully getting this. And he goes, yeah, if you truly believe it deep down that you don't need to be responsible, then you don't need the arthritis. So I gathered my will and I said, okay, I'm not going to be responsible for anyone but me. And you know what happened right in that moment? Nothing. But I woke up the next morning and there was no pain. There was no inflammation. I had more mobility. I could even breathe.
The lightning strike.
Yeah, it was just, and I'm freaking out because like, it's been 18 years. I've tried everything. And this guy says, oh, stop being responsible. And then boom, it's gone. Like that made no sense. But when I looked into this, I found out this isn't just about arthritis. This isn't about illness. This is about everything. So your mind prioritizes the avoidance of emotional distress over physical circumstances. So to avoid the guilt of not being able to take care of everyone, I created arthritis. And you can apply this to everything. I found that people that don't want to have their heart broken don't find people to have relationships with. And they say, why can't I find the right person? Well, you don't want to, because if you find them and they leave you, you feel you're going to get hurt. So in anticipation of that, you keep finding the wrong people. People that can't make a lot of money, some of them have this belief that, well, if I have a lot of money, everyone's going to say, can I have some? Can you invest in my business? Can you take care of this? And they don't want to have those conversations. Those are stressful. So your brain says, well, if we don't make the money, we won't have those conversations. Problem solved. So the lack of money is the solution, not the problem.
I totally believe in mindset is everything. But let's be fair. You know, there are probably people who are watching who are saying, I didn't create cancer in me. I didn't create this MS or other chronic diseases. I mean, you're saying that rheumatoid arthritis, you did create that. But I think, how do you answer to that there are chronic diseases out there that are bona fide physical problems that people can have? So what's your response to that?
So the potential for disease is in every single person. Whether you turn those genes on or off depends on your mindset. So the potential for arthritis was there. My mom was arthritic. Right? Both my brother and sister have arthritis, but I turned off my gene. So the arthritis went away. There's a new field called epigenetics, where they have discovered that your mental state turns off genes and turns on genes. So
that's pretty deep, Shiraz.
That's it. This is now scientifically proven. I remember reading an article about this. I can't remember what the exact name of the place was, but it was the region in the world where the people live the longest. And they did all these
blue
studies.
zone. They call them the blue zone.
The blue zone. And they did all these studies to try to figure out, is it the food? Is it the air? Like, what is it? And they found out it's because everyone there is happy. That's what was causing them to live long, because they had more reason to live.
If you think about the conversation I just had with Michelle McAleese too, it's what you do with yourself is how you end up, in your life. Are you taking care of yourself? Are you sending out positive vibes? Are you being negative? Because as you age, you're going to reflect that to a great degree. This is an interesting concept. So I'm really going to have to dig a little bit deeper, and I know we won't have time to do it on the podcast, but let me ask you, how do you primarily help others? Is it more from a business and money mindset, or is it just you say you're a reality interventionist? So is it really just what's your reality?
Yeah, it's the same way someone comes in and does an intervention and says, look, you've been doing all these drugs and it's hurting you, it's hurting people around you. I'm like, well, you've been doing this specific reality and it's hurting you and it's hurting the people around you. So let's change that reality. And you are addicted to it. This is what most people don't understand. It is both a mental and a physical addiction. So when you try to change your life, you go into withdrawal. And that's why a lot of people see the yo-yo results. They start to see success and then they lose. They think it's circumstance, but it's actually the withdrawal kicking in and pulling you back to where the addiction feels good. There's addictions for immediate gratification, but there's also addictions to avoid the bad things from happening. And you have to figure out which one each situation is based on. So I used to get stopped at the border all the time. And I even had people admit, because we checked the Black people. So I'm like, this is all about race. But when I was working with a coach, he's like, no, this is just a story you have. And I'm like, what are you talking about? No, they've admitted this is about race. And he says, yeah, but you don't get denied jobs because you're Black. You don't get stopped in traffic because you're Black. You only get stopped at borders because you're Black. Right? That's not strictly racism. That's a story in your life. So you have to figure out why. And I said, but there's no reason. Like, if I'm getting immediate gratification, it's not happening. Right? It's only causing me anguish, frustration. It's causing delays in my life. And then he looks at me and goes, but Shiraz, when you tell your border crossing stories to people, you light up. You feed off their emotional reaction to your adversity. So you have to keep getting stopped at borders so you have fresh material. And I was just like, oh my God.
It's opening up a whole different way of really thinking. That's some heavy duty stuff, Shiraz. But you're a smart guy if you were in med school. I'm smart guy.
Well, I didn't actually graduate. I had to drop off. But this is the thing. Like, you don't see the problem because it looks like circumstance. So you don't even think to change the addiction because you don't realize there's one there. But when you get someone to point it out and you see where that huge problem is actually a solution, any consistent problem in your life is a solution to an emotional problem you're not seeing. And when you get that, you'll stop saying, why is this happening to me? And you'll start saying, okay, why do I want this to happen to me? What am I not seeing here? And that's when the answers can pop up. But if they don't pop up, then you go to someone else because you don't see through your own crap because your subconscious mind tries to hide it from you to keep you safe. Someone else can spot it pretty quickly.
You need your client to be ready and willing to really look deep into their reality.
Yes.
And be willing to kind of expose themselves and do the hard work of changing habits, lifestyles, etc. That's a lot of hard work.
It's a lot of practice. It doesn't have to be hard work. So, and the thing is, you can get changes right away, but it's a matter of doing the maintenance so that you don't fall back into the addictive patterns. So I worked with a person once and something went wrong all the time. Every day something would go wrong. He says, there's not a day that goes by where something doesn't go wrong. But then we found out he prided himself as a problem solver. So what do you have to keep creating in order to feel value when you think I'm a problem solver?
You need to have problems.
Yeah. So he created a problem every single day so he could feel valuable. And when we shifted his belief that, problem solving is something I do, but it's not my pure source of value. I have all sorts of other places where I can feel valuable. The problems went away. And he was just like, this is amazing. He called me like a week later. I haven't had a problem all week. It's just crazy. But then he calls me 3 weeks later and he says, I had a problem today. And he sounded really happy about it. And I said, why are you so happy that just suddenly the problems are coming back? And he goes, well, the first week was great because I didn't have any problems. The second week, I was just like, where is it? And by the third week, I was in anxiety. Where are the problems? I'm so used to problems. And that was the withdrawal pulling him back. And so then he got the problems. He got his fix because we hadn't got him fully out of the addiction yet.
That's fascinating. Now you have a book out, right?
I do.
Digs a little deeper into all that we're talking about.
Apparently is not here. I always have a copy with me. It's called How to Rewrite Reality.
How to Rewrite Reality?
Yes.
That's great. So folks out there, that's a way to certainly learn more about this conversation that we're having, because it's really a mind shift. And not everybody that's out there talking about it. So I love your perspective on that you bring, making the lemonade, dancing with that lemon out there that's really your problem. It's a solution. That's the problem. Problem is the solution. I get that right. You've been great, Shiraz. I love having you as a guest. Thank you so much for joining us. We're coming up on our time, so I am going to have to say goodbye for now. How can people get a hold of you?
You can just go to energeticmagic.com and all the information is right there.
That's great. That is great. Well, I know you've got things going on. I believe you're traveling this evening, so safe travels and all of that. And thank you, everyone, for joining us on Lemonade Life Podcast, special edition, Dancing with Lemon. And we say goodbye for now, and I can't wait to join you on our next podcast. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Michelle.
Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat. Lemon tree, very pretty, and the lemon flower is sweet, but the fruit of the poor lemon is impossible to eat.